For our audience here, we do have video in showing Kirk being carried to a vehicle to go to the hospital after he was shot. I do want to show it to you. Of course, keep in mind, this could be disturbing. We've tried to do our best to block out the graphic parts, but you can see him being carried by a number of people into that black SUV. That black SUV then taking him either to an ambulance or directly to the hospital. And we know now that just moments ago, the confirmation came in from the authorities and from President Trump that indeed Charlie Kirk died of that single gunshot wound. Witnesses say the bullet hit him in the neck. We have our Bayan Wang on campus for us right now. Bayan, you have been talking to people. Now the news here, the confirmation that indeed Charlie Kirk has been killed on the campus today. Your thoughts here, what you're seeing, what you're hearing now that we have that confirmation?
Well, absolutely heartbroken. I mean, Charlie Kirk, one of the biggest political activists in the world, who advocates for free speech, here on campus, talking with students. There was a few students who were able to exchange ideas, and we talked to students who had different ideas, just said that they appreciate that he came on campus, is willing to have a conversation with them. To hear President Trump now say that he's dead is just, it's heartbreaking, and it's also just shocking because of how contentious campuses are when he goes to them. We know that Turning Point USA says they're active on 3,500 different campuses. They have a lot of supporters. And the part that makes Turning Point USA so interesting on social media is that there are other students with different voices that participate at these events. So we know that Charlie Kirk travels to all these different campuses with his security team. We also know that campuses are alerted ahead of time when Charlie Kirk comes and speaks at different campuses across the United States. So what exactly happened here? How many police, how many security were at this event? What was the process of them making sure that students were coming in, weren't armed, or anybody else who was coming in? Because remember, this wasn't just students. We heard it from different employees in the area, students from other campuses who attended events like this. And we got a chance to speak to one of them now. If I could go ahead and have you step a little closer to me. First of all, were you in attendance, and how far were you from the speaking?
Yes, I was in attendance today. I was probably 10, 15 feet away from Charlie Kirk, so pretty close to him.
Yeah. What did you see?
I'm sure you've already described it. I don't know if I want to describe it again, but it was pretty traumatizing, pretty terrible. What happened? Just an overall sad situation.
And you were telling us that, did it appear like there was a lot of security there or not much?
No, I mean, we registered for tickets, but they weren't even looking for tickets. Anyone could just walk in. It was at probably the worst place in campus because there's just so many areas where anyone can just walk in. So yeah, I would say the security level, I would say UVU kind of failed him in a way.
Well, you followed Charlie for some time now, right?
Yeah.
So you see, like, when Turning Point USA goes to different campuses, like how contentious it could be, right?
Yes.
Was it surprising that there wasn't more checks and balances entering the campus?
I think it was super surprising, yes. I think for sure in an event like this, where there's debate, and Charlie, sometimes he likes to provoke, they should have a lot more security, just because everyone's welcome, so.
Tell me a little bit about the aftermath. After this gunshot went off, what happened afterwards?
So I was with one of my good friends, and as soon as the gun went off, we both hit the floor, started praying, everyone was screaming, and then yeah, we got up and we just started running, and we made it to our apartment. So
yeah, you're right around this area. Did you see any students kind of like get injured as everyone was trying to escape?
No, but I did see a select group of students who stood up and cheered after the fact, which was really sad to see.
You're kidding me.
No.
Well, we are now getting breaking news. Breaking news coming into the newsroom right now. The suspect in this shooting has been arrested. This is coming in right now. Early on, after 12:20, when that shooting was reported, we first got alert. Suspect was taken into custody. A few minutes after that, UVU spokesperson said that, no, actually, we don't have a suspect in custody. Now we are confirming into the newsroom right now that a suspect has been arrested, who they are, how old they are, how they plan to come to an event like this and open fire, targeting Charlie Kirk, a single round being fired, striking Charlie. All of that information has not been confirmed, but that's what police are going to start working on now. And you really hope that they actually have the guy this time, because there were pictures of someone who was being detained by law enforcement circulating everywhere. It turns out it wasn't that person, but we are getting official word from authorities now that they have arrested a suspect. And you hear just the turmoil and the aftermath from students talking about being just a few feet away from Charlie, hearing that gunshot. Reports were that the shot came from 200 yards away from the stage. Well, I've corroborated that with some of the students here who said that it sounded like the shot happened from behind them, which kind of gets into this next question of what kind of weapon was this, what kind of caliber it was. And I only bring that up because at point blank range, yeah, like a 9mm or smaller weapon could be used in those situations, as we see across the country. When you're 200 yards away, there's a certain type of weapons, whether it's a rifle or a sniper of some kind, that are used for longer distances like that. So I only bring that up because it gets back to the security here. When you have someone as big as Charlie Kirk with the platform that he has, how contentious he may be across the entire, it's kind of hard to say, but how contentious he was across the nation, you would expect that there would be more checks and balances here, and I'm sure the authorities are going to be releasing more information about that. But to bring in a weapon, we're presuming is probably a rifle or a sniper, something that could make it that distance. You know, how did this happen? How did this happen? That's the question of the hour, the question of the week, probably for the entire year. Hopefully we get those answers as soon as possible, because there are so many people impacted by this. Look, I want to bring this point back up. When there was that assassination attempt on Donald Trump, there were so many people across the aisle that were saying, thank goodness that he is alive, because not just how horrible a situation like that would have been, but because of the potential violence that may have been incited after something like that. Well, former presidential nominee Kamala Harris posted on her social media saying that she hopes that violence doesn't come out of something like this, considering how big Charlie Kirk was, an advocate for freedom of speech, someone who traveled to countless campuses, having conversations with students. Yes, some of his ideas were contentious and controversial, and a lot of people didn't agree with it, but he had so much support. It's part of the reason Turning Point USA says they're active on 3,500 campuses. It's part of the reason why more and more campuses were welcoming Turning Point USA to their campus.